Welcome to the Explainer. You know, every time a commercial jet safely touches down, it's not just thanks to gravity and aerodynamics. It's actually the direct result of a massive, meticulously structured library of documentation. Today, we're opening the vault on this entire comprehensive network of manuals that keeps global aviation running safely. So for anyone out there who loves highly structured, absolutely critical systems, we are going to decode the ultimate mechanics blueprint.
Today's explainer is a comprehensive summary based entirely on the AMTE 231 course, specifically Topic 2, created by engineer James A. Isoli. We are going to translate these vital engineering concepts into a clear, really accessible visual guide.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. What are manufacturer documents? 2. Decoding the aviation alphabet. 3. The aircraft maintenance manual. And 4. Component and vendor manuals.
Kicking things off with Section 1. What are manufacturer documents? The foundation of safe flight.
So what exactly is aircraft manufacturer's documentation? Simply put, it's the documents provided by the manufacturer directly to the operator, specifically for the maintenance of the aircraft. But here is the absolute crucial takeaway you've got to remember. The formats and contents actually vary from one manufacturer to another. An Airbus manual doesn't look or navigate exactly like a Boeing manual. Actually, scratch that. It's not a universal format at all, which is exactly why dedicated, highly specialized training is absolutely vital to guarantee safety and regulatory compliance.
Moving right along to Section 2, Decoding the Aviation Alphabet. Welcome to the Maintenance Alphabet Soup. I know it looks like a lot, but every abbreviation here serves a highly specific purpose out on the tarmac, functioning as a real-world workflow. Your baseline is the AMM, the Aircraft Maintenance Manual. Now imagine an alarm triggers or a system fails. Mechanics diagnose that exact issue with the FIM, the Fault Isolation Manual. To physically locate that broken component somewhere inside the massive airframe, they use the CLM, the Component Location Manual. And finally, to order the exact replacement part, they crack open the IPC, the Illustrated Parts Catalog. See? It is a perfectly segmented, highly responsive system designed to save time and ensure absolute accuracy. Let's move to the next set and see how this builds because the scale only grows from there. For deep electrical or systemic tracing, you have the SDM for schematic diagrams and the WDM for wiring diagrams. But then there are the critical operational guides, the MMEL, the DDG, and the CDL. These documents are huge because they dictate the strict regulatory limits of whether a plane can even legally take off with a specific compromised component. Finally, the day-to-day physical work is driven by task cards, or TC, and critical manufacturer updates come directly via an SB, a service bulletin. All right, Section 3, the Aircraft Maintenance Manual. This is the master key to maintenance. So the AMM is a formal, really comprehensive document containing all basic information on the operation and maintenance of the aircraft and its onboard equipment. But as you can imagine, organizing thousands of pages of complex technical data requires a universal logic. The AMM relies on the standardized ATA coding system. Think of it kind of like the Dewey Decimal System of aviation. This coding guarantees that whether a mechanic is looking at landing gear or environmental controls, the data is categorized and structured identically every single time across every single system. Now, what's really interesting about this is a crucial distinction that often surprises people outside of aviation. The AMM tells you exactly how to operate and maintain the aircraft, but it formally excludes any type of structural repair. Literally, if the actual airframe is bent, dented, or cracked, the AMM is no longer your guide. That falls into an entirely distinct operational domain governed by specialized documents, specifically the Structural Repair Manual, or SRM.
Opening the AMM triggers a very logical, functional progression for the mechanic. Step 1 is the explanation. It details exactly how a specific system and subsystem works through its description and operation. Once that's clear, Step 2 moves directly into the physical work, performing basic maintenance like the removal and installation of LRUs or line replaceable units. Finally, Step 3 covers verification, systematically walking the mechanic through functional tests, physical adjustments, and fluid replenishing. It basically takes a technician from initial understanding straight through to the final testing.
Which brings us to Section 4, Component and Vendor Manuals. Now we're zooming in on the details. And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. To truly understand the Component Maintenance Manual, or CMM, just remember this fundamental rule. It shows the breakdown of all components that make a complete part. It acts like a powerful magnifying glass. While the broader AMM might treat a massive, complex fuel pump as just a single unit to simply be removed from the wing, the CMM breaks that exact same fuel pump down into its individual internal gears, specialized seals, and microscopic screws.
Of course, these specialized manuals do not exist in a vacuum. The CMM and vendor manuals are always accompanied by the AMM. Why? Well, because modern commercial airlines heavily customize their planes. Interior components are specifically chosen by the airlines and are often installed during or even after the aircraft is technically completed by the original manufacturer. So the manufacturer provides the AMM, but it absolutely must be paired with specific CMMs and VMs to account for those bespoke choices, complete with exact part numbers and precise item location figures. So absolutely nothing is left to guesswork on the hangar floor. Which leaves us with this final thought. Knowing this massive, intricate web of documentation we've just comprehensively summarized, how seamlessly do you think a master mechanic must navigate from the broad AMM all the way down to a highly specific CMM when diagnosing a critical flight system out on a noisy tarmac? It's a seriously high-stakes environment where knowing exactly how to find the information is just as critical as the mechanical skills themselves. Thank you so much for joining this explainer, and we'll see you next time.